Good day everybody and welcome back to another Amazon PPC Newsflash. We have some big news today and we have some even bigger news today for you. So a lot of exciting things to talk about. I'm just going to quickly mention the big news, which on any other day would be worth a full video, would be worth talking about 10-20 minutes at least. But today I'm just going to quickly mention it. In your managed experiments in the US only so far, you now have the option to A/B test the main image as well. Not just the A+ content, not just the product title anymore, but also the main image. And this is of course huge if you want to improve your click-through rate and your performance in general. I talk about that in my other A/B testing video, and unfortunately for me that is now pretty out of date because it's missing the most simple feature to A/B test your image, which is right in Amazon. So this is really cool and certainly something you will want to check out. But the main purpose of this video today is actually to talk about the sponsored display audiences. You may have heard about it already, but basically DSP Lite is now in Amazon for everybody to use. And this is pretty amazing. Let's go have a look at it right now. So it's just, as always, creating a sponsored display campaign, setting your name, setting your budget, and so on. And after you go through the products, which I cannot show right now, so I'm just going to go to the second tab, you will then see audiences, right? If you at the top went for audiences instead of product targeting, you will now not only see views remarketing, but Amazon audiences. So let's just go ahead and remove those remarketing targets and have a look at those new audience segments. And there are a bunch of segments. They are categorized into these 4 categories: in-market interests, lifestyle, and life events. I'll go into those in just a second. But for now, it's just important to know there are thousands of those segments. So if you filter by in-market, for example, you will see there are over 5,000 of audiences you could target. And that's only in the US. Now, before I talk about those targets and how you find the right ones and what to look out for, let me just give you some basic information about this whole new feature, this whole new ad type. Basically, this is a whole new game in the Amazon advertising space for most sellers that have not been using DSP. DSP, the demand side platform, of course, where you can already reach thousands of people outside of Amazon. So this is now also available to you, but it is click-based, so it is cost per click. That is actually something I much prefer. It's much easier to have the control over your costs and profitability if it is click-based rather than impression-based as DSP is. So that is pretty cool in my opinion. And speaking of the bid, actually I would recommend, of course, to put it to a very low bid at first, just to start out and see if you can already get impressions with that. And there should be a lot of people you can target already with that kind of bid. And the other thing I wanted to mention real quickly is that it is, unfortunately, unlike DSP, on and off of Amazon. You have no control over where you are targeting those people, where they will see your ad. So yeah, that is not ideal, but let us not appreciate this any less because it is awesome. You have thousands of very detailed audiences you can target and really get to know your customers and really put your product in front of people that by themselves would have perhaps not looked for it, but are in some kind of audience that generally are interested in some kind of product like that. So certainly a great way, top of funnel, to get even more exposure for your product if you've already made the most out of search ads. So the normal keyword targeting, product targeting, etc. At some point there's just not much more to get. So now available to all Amazon advertisers. Go outside of Amazon and target far more people. But that's kind of also the problem, because there's so many audiences you can target, it is actually quite difficult to find the ones that really matter. You could, go through all of them, you could search for them, but you don't really know what to search for, right? Most of you probably won't be familiar with these kind of wordings that they're using here. So especially for the other segments, so like lifestyle, you don't know if you want to search for, I don't know, let's see, what is there? Vehicle ownership, make, Isuzu, oh, what the hell is that? So Ram owners, wow. There's lots of wordings in there that you probably wouldn't think of yourself. So what I would recommend, and because this is not sorted alphabetically, and because you don't really know what to search for, I would recommend to just copy all of those. Right, you can copy 250 per page and paste them into a Google spreadsheet that you can then easily, sort. And first of all, of course, remove the duplicates, right? And then you can easily sort that list alphabetically and, just get acquainted with those terminologies, get acquainted with those audiences that you could target, and pick out the ones that seem relevant to your product. So yeah, that is certainly something I would recommend just to get started with this whole new ad game that is now available to everybody. So it is a bit of work because there are a lot of pages, especially for the in-market segment. So that is why I actually already did that for myself for all those marketplaces, right? For the US, which has the most by far, 6,299 segments that you can target in total, right? Most of which are in market. So now let me just quickly talk about those categories in more detail because I kind of summarize it for myself as well. In market is basically what have they been looking for recently. So the recent is the important word in their explanation, I think. So, just keep that in mind, and I would definitely split out in your campaign structures, split out those different segments, whatever you're targeting, at least split out those different segments, right? Have one campaign for in-market, for example, and then, target those different relevant audiences. And then we have interests. Those are things that people have a durable interest in. So categories that they have been regularly shopping in that suggest they have that durable interest, that they really love it, basically. And I would think that the conversion rates might be a little bit higher if you can, find a audience in this category that is relevant to your product. And then we have lifestyle. This is kind of a persona thing. So who are they based on their shopping and streaming activity? So here you'll find things like owners of various things. So, they might have a truck owner, and the truck owner might need various things for long drives that you could use, or, you could go by that as well. So yeah, exciting stuff here to test out. And then finally, we have the life events. This is very small at the moment. So you just have some things like getting married or recently moved based on the delivery address changing in their account on Amazon, presumably. So yeah, a lot of things that you can test out here as well. And like I said, this is ready, and I would give it to you for a little deal. And all you have to do is contact me, connect with me on LinkedIn, and let me know what was the #1 reason why you previously switched between Amazon advertising softwares. That is, of course, one of my favorite topics. I talk about that in a lot of detail in other videos. So I'm interested to know about that. So if you can let me know, I will give you that sheet and you can copy it for yourself. And if you've never been using Amazon advertising softwares before, well, connect with me anyway and just ask nicely and I'll also give it to you. All right, so that was a little cheat sheet I just wanted to show you and you can make use of and get acquainted with all of those audience segments. But let's just go back to the advertising console, where I just wanted to mention some other good to know things. So one thing is you can only target up to 20 of those audiences per campaign. So if you consider that there are over 6,000 of those audiences to target, right, then that will be by far not enough for all of your products. You would need 300 campaigns per product to target all of those audiences. So as with keywords, of course, try to go for the ones that are actually relevant. And also I would probably only test this out and really go for it in your top selling products or top converting products. Because remember, of course, your conversion rate will be a lot lower for these kind of campaigns. This is very top of the funnel. These are not people that are actively looking on Amazon, already in the mood to buy something. These are just personas, people generally interested in your category or certain personas like we talked about. So here your conversion rates will be very low. Work with very low bids, low budgets, and only target the audiences that make sense. Of course, you don't want to waste money on testing various irrelevant audiences, of course. And ideally, you have already a clue of what your audience is actually all about. So for those US sellers among you that are already lucky enough to have the demographics tab in your brand analytics section, you can already learn about your customers here with actual Amazon data. You can find out if most of your customers are, let's say, aged 35 to 34, for example, or if they are in fact with some college degree or not, or if they are female or male, of course. That would be the main differentiation I would look out for as, first indication of what your customers are. That, of course, can not only be used in your ads, that is a whole other topic. All your content should then be kind of geared towards those clients, not completely, ignoring the others. But of course, that is valuable information that you can use now also in your audiences. So look for those lifestyle audiences that fit your customers in some way, right? And then target those. So yeah, lots of things to play around with now, lots of things to report on in the future. I would of course also be interested to know how it's going for you in those early weeks. But as ever with Amazon advertising, as they bring out new stuff, you want to be among the sellers that are really making use of those things. You want to be an early adopter, which by the way is also a segment you can target. So if you have a very innovative product, that might be one of those things you want to target. There's many other things that, will probably fit a lot of brands, a lot of products. Some of the ones I picked out are high spenders. So those are people that, don't mind spending a lot apparently. So if you have a high price product, that might be something to test, as well as bargain hunters, right? Another one. But there's so many. Like I said, you want to just go through the list and find those. And really, if you don't know what to look for, then it's difficult to actually find those interesting audiences to test out. So like I said, you can contact me on LinkedIn, ask me nicely, and ideally let me know what is the #1 reason you have switched between Amazon advertising softwares in the past, and I'll be happy to share my prepared sheet of audiences for all of those marketplaces. All right, and that is it for this huge news on April 18th. It is wonderful to be an Amazon advertiser and have them keep on giving. This is really, I guess, since the introduction of sponsored display, pretty much the biggest news coming out. And we're just really at the start. I mean, Amazon is just growing so quickly. Only 3 years ago or so, there was no sponsored brand ads. Then sponsored display came. And now we have, DSP Lite for everybody available. It's just crazy, and one can only imagine what will be coming in the next few years. So stay for the ride, subscribe to this channel, and keep on learning and stay in this very, very interesting market with me. All right, so that's it. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll hopefully see you around in the next one.